Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Candid conversations about network marketing. And we are in season number 3. Hi, Dr. Wayne, our co host
Hi,
for today as
BK.
well.
Hi, BK. Hi, everyone.
So we are back. We are back after a short break, naturally, because we crossed over from 1 year to another year, right? And then we also
Yeah.
have crossed over from one season to another season. So, what are your thoughts for the new season, Dr. Wayne?
Yeah, the new season I think is going to be really exciting. And well, we'll go through it a little bit more in detail in terms of the past, but we like the word impact. So this season is all going to be about impact because the season one and season two, I'll let BK share that with regards to what season one and season two are about. But this season is about impact, and where we want to start is goal setting and 2021 in terms of what it looks for us and what we can do to make it impactful for each one of us. And then we're going to share our journey and our story a little bit as well, so you can get to feel that authenticity and that congruency that we like to share to everyone along the way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were just having as usual, just before we started, we always have a little bit of a conversation, just to catch up with each other. As we mentioned before, Dr. Wayne and I we are first friends before we are co-host on this show, right? So we do catch up with each other about life and what's going on in each other's lives and so on. So for us, we were kind of just reflecting that season 1 was really more about getting going. And we can understand that some of us, whether is it in business, in life, or even in network marketing, sometimes getting out the door is always the challenge, right? That's the first challenge. So season 1 was kind of like that for us. We documented some of the things that we had to go through to get it going. So that was season 1. Then for season 2, I think we found a little bit of our footing. We made some changes to the show, the formats. We had show notes. We also did things like, and a huge milestone for us for season 2 was we got onto several of the major podcast providers like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and so on, right? So that was a major milestone for all of us.
Yeah.
So that's season 2. And just to chime in with Dr. Wayne for season 3, I think for us, season 3, the catchword or the catchphrase is going to be impact. So we want to work on getting this out to more people because after all, we do have a message, and we feel that that message can help many of us out there, or many of you out there, right? And we want to then find a way to maximize the impact, maximize the outreach, and so that we can get this, we have maximum impact to the world. I think one of my favorite sayings of all time is that it is the crazy ones who think they can change the world that really change the world, right? So I guess both of us are a little bit, we do belong to the slightly crazier ones out there. So we hope that some of the things that we have been putting out has been valuable to you. And then now this time round, our objective obviously is to improve, or is to increase the level of impact that we have, right, Dr. Wayne?
Most definitely, most definitely. And as I mentioned before, in terms of looking at 2021 and goal setting and that, I think I'd just like to reflect back and maybe we talk about this is the entrepreneur's journey as well. If we go back to when we first started, I remember we spoke for how long. Are we going to do this? Are we not? We should do it. We shouldn't do it. And I think and then we did. Like, I think we spoke for something like 3 to 6 months before we actually then started to say, yes, we're going to do it. On this Friday, we're going to do it. And I think it's exactly the same with the network marketer. The thing that I think that we can say for both of us is, even though we procrastinated for that 3 to 6 months, we still were willing to do it. And even if you are with your network marketing business right now, it might be not where you want it to be. You may be in the just starting out phase. and you're still not sure, and it might be 3 to 6 months, and you really want to do it, but you're still not sure. You really want to do it, but you're still not sure. And it's that willingness that's going to get you over the line, to talk to you upline, talk to the people who immerse yourself. That's a really important word when you first start out, and it's immersion. And we've talked about it many, many times in terms of, for myself personally, I remember when I was digging deep into the science of the products that we have in our network marketing business, I actually listened to some of the webinars 6 to 10 times before I was comfortable. And that's with the background of Doctor of Chinese Medicine, naturopathy, and all the rest of it. And the main reason we speak about this is to keep on immersing yourself, even if it's the same thing, is because of something called TDS, transdiversional search. The brain basically will only hear what it wants to hear if you listen to a webinar once. Then you listen to a webinar the second time, then you get more out of it, because the brain now is not having to search for new terminology as much as what it used to be. So for those people who are just listening for the first time, TDS means transdiversional search. So the brain now is trying to look for, say if you say a new word or something you're not grasping, your brain will basically kind of like cavitate. It'll just go round and around and around. It won't be able to get itself to that next understanding. But remembering of now, or the person you listen to has now said a whole lot of phrases after that. And that could be the most important part. Yet we missed it. But if you listen to it twice, you'll then go, how did I miss that? Then you do it again, third time. That makes much more sense. So the willingness, I think, is a word that I'd like to capture in phase one of our development, and I think in a network marketer's development as well. And yes, it might not be going where it wants you to be. It might be 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 2 months. It might not be, because you're in this learning phase, and that's where we were as well. So anything on that one, BK, in terms of anything at all?
No, I think the usual thing that the role that I play here is I'm the perpetual student, and also I kind of I'm the more layman person in the sense, right? So the things that Dr. Wayne says to make perfect sense to some of you, if you're thinking what is TDS and all that, right? If you catch yourself ever saying in a conversation to someone this phrase, which is "say that again," then TDS has happened to you, right? Because that is what's happening. Sometimes it's just even in daily life when we are talking to friends, right? You notice that you say this statement, say that again, because you realize that you caught some of what he said, but you did not catch all of what he said, right? And that is a very simple, everyday indication to you that this is what's going on in our minds. And exactly when we learn things, and like what Dr. Wayne is sharing, when you listen to any kind of audible, or even like if you're learning about your company's products and business plans and all those things, right? The chances are the first time you hear it, you're going to have to say to that recording, that podcast, say that again. And the beauty of it is that you can play it again, right? So we have archived all these episodes. In fact, we have archived all 3 seasons. You want to catch us at this particular URL, please feel free to do it. It's shown on the screen. If you're not, you're listening to us, it's at networkmarketerpodcast.com. It's at networkmarketerpodcast.com. So you could just download them, access them, and listen to them as many times as you like.
Yes. And so that's the phase one of a person's journey. And I think willingness will basically be a really nice word that you can capture to allow yourself to move through it. And I suppose just going back in my journey, one of my big things was the angle of, or the word, network marketing. And I spent a lot of time cavitating over that word. But once I got my understanding of when you've got a good product, an unbelievably brilliant product in a network marketing business, I've used the term before many, many times. I really now think that it's the cleanest business you can be in, because you don't need product. You don't need any type of overheads. There's really nothing that you need because the product is being sent out. All the back end is already there. You've got the website, it's been updated for you and all the rest of it. And all you've got to do is just go out there and chat to people, whether that be one-on-one, whether that be through webinars, whether that be through Facebook, or however you're basically doing your lead generation strategies. That's that first bit. And once I got over that bit, it was just such a nice relief. So that's the willingness. I was willing to get over that bit. And the next phase then is in the phase 2. Now you're basically starting to make inroads. Now you're starting to make changes that are now more consequential because you've gone through phase 1. You can now start to see what's actually happened. You can now start to see people starting to build up in your downline. Like for us, we actually started to see that we are actually starting to be noticed in terms of podcasts being, what's the word? Sorry, BK again. Podcast being?
We are syndicated.
Syndicated. Thank you. Yeah, podcasts being syndicated. So we're out into these other channels, which is absolutely fantastic. So this bit now is sort of like a growth phase as well. You're going along, you're learning more, you're updating things, and we'll talk more about that even with what you've seen there before in season 1 and season 2. We didn't have these little slide things that are going across and going back. So this is a part of our journey as well, which is absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant when you see your journey. And the only way this happens is because you've stepped into it. You've got to step into it. And the main reason people don't step into it is literally, unfortunately, because of our limited self-conscious beliefs. However, there's things I want to really talk about once we get to season 3, where we are in 2021, to help us to basically make 2021 the year of our dreams, no matter what happens. Now, even in 2020, which was not a very good year in terms of when you look at the pandemic and everything that's going around. However, did you know that the top billionaires of the world increased their wealth by over 30%? And those people who understood how to market and how to be and how to change, a word that was used in 2020 a lot was pivot. You had to pivot, you had to change, you had to basically then allow yourself to totally become a different person that allowed you then to move through and pivot through that whole phenomena that basically happened in 2020. And that's what we did. We pivoted. We basically did a lot in 2020 that was different than the season 1, which was just great in terms of growth. And this is where you are now. If you're in the second session or the season 2 of your life and network marketing, you're now starting to really look at the fruits of your labor because you spent so much that time in season 1, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of am reminded frequently and constantly by a phrase that Jim Rohn, one of our favorite speakers as well. He says that success is the steady progression towards a designated goal. Right, so it's just a steady progression towards a goal that you have decided for yourself, right? So in this case, we have decided to do a podcast. We have decided this is what we want to do, and over the past past episodes as well as the past seasons, every season has a certain interesting thematic focus in a sense, right? So, but we are seeing steady progression towards our goals, which then helps us to realize that, hey, we have been successful in our endeavor in this podcast, right? And I totally agree with Dr. Wayne about this whole need for pivoting. I kind of feel that 2020 is an inflection point where we need to start to realize that we need to make changes, and therefore those of you who are listening to us now or watching us, 2021, it's good to learn how to pivot towards other non-face-to-face channels, which could include things like a live stream, a podcast. And interestingly enough, this whole sector on voice is becoming very, is growing, is a growth space.
Yes.
So like podcasts, audio podcasts is a growing space. So this might be something you want to consider for your own business, right? And the other one is there is a recent social media app that has kind of blown up. It's becoming very popular. It's called Clubhouse. It's also audio only. It's an audio only social media platform, which is interesting, right?
Wow.
So whatever we are doing now is kind of our own effort as well in our business to pivot, because 2020 is it's been an interesting year, and I really like what Dr. Wayne says. As long as you know who you are, what you are doing, and you have learned to pivot, then it does not matter. 2021 is still going to be the best year ever for you. We can definitely take advantage of the new technologies to help us to do that, right? I mean, one of my, the somebody I follow a lot on social media as well, Gary V. I'm not sure whether you heard of him. He says that do not curse the year that woke you up. Right. So 2020 to many of us is quite literally a year that perhaps might have jolted you out of your slumber and realize that you need to do something different, right? So do not curse the year that woke you up. I think that's an awesome phrase, right?
That's a fantastic phrase. I'm the perpetual student this time, BK. That's fantastic. I've learned about the cloud. What was it? Cloud
Clubhouse.
Pulse.
Clubhouse. Clubhouse.
Yeah. So never heard of that one. And it basically backs up the voice. And I think the more, if we look at the podcasts that we listen to, and BK, I'm sure you'll back this up. It's the person who is, or the podcast, the person that you're listening to is the one that is raw, is authentic, is congruent. They're showing their weaknesses, their strengths, and this idea of the voice coming through, I think, is really, really important, because there's so many people that have so many good superpowers. They've got so much to give to the world. And unfortunately, maybe within themselves, their own subconscious beliefs, or maybe it was back in my day, if I go back to, say, when I was 30, there was none of this that was available. It was literally one-on-one, which was a lot harder. But today you got so many different ways of getting that voice out there, which is fantastic, really fantastic. And especially for us as network marketers. And we might even have a lot of people listening, BK, who are still on the fence. Do I want to do network marketing? Do I not? And we totally get that. I think the most important thing, if you are sitting on the fence, to join, and just to put this into perspective for those new ones, like I've looked at, I've been in the JOB, just over broke. I've been in the space of self-employed. Well, now you can't sack your boss, but you still got a JOB. And then I've even been in the space of being the coach and actually helping wellness practitioners and wellness doctors and physicians, etc., to be able to get their voice out into the marketplace as well. But network marketing has another level of freedom that I've never felt, another level of freedom that is just incredible. And the caveat there, though, would be make sure you have a product that is something that will change the world. And secondly, you've got a company that is authentic, that we're speaking about, and is congruent with the message, is really, really important as well. Really, really important. So, it's interesting that all this is now coming to more of it would be more of an important transition for our human psychology to move through, which will be really interesting to watch it.
Actually, now that you mentioned it, Dr. Wei, I think we should do an episode where we kind of talk about, we do an episode to help people who are on the fence, and maybe talk a little bit about like how to choose a company. There are many good companies out there, right? So it's really about how to find a good one, the factors that influence our own decisions, right? And so on. Because you are absolutely right, and I think that there would be somebody like you who is listening to us now that might have, especially because of what's happening on in the world in 2020 and 2021 now, and someone may have approached you, or maybe you are looking for a side hustle. And this is literally the age of the side hustle, and you are kind of exploring, but you're not sure, right? You are Your interest is piqued. You are keen, but you're not sure. So
Yeah.
let's do an episode on this, right? I think it will be
That sounds
useful
a good
for
idea.
people.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a really good idea.
So
Yeah.
watch out for it. We will do an episode, and we will just discuss about some things you may want to consider in picking a company for you to put your time in, invest your time in and energy in, especially in 2021, 2020. I was just joking with friends. This is the era of the side hustle. In fact, 2020 has made it such that your side hustle needs a side hustle.
That's very true. When you look at the unemployment numbers and the people who are really, really doing it tough, we need to pivot, and we need to then create a side hustle whereby the side hustle will actually outstrip your normal wages. That's a really good side hustle. Yeah, yeah. And initially we just do it on a part-time, whatever basis we can. But there's many, many people, and whereby their network marketing business is now literally paying so much money into their back pocket and into their bank account as well. And we might even have those people on board that are listening now that are with companies that may not be happy as well. So we will have those other ones that are really just wanting to get their network marketing company to a whole new level. And this is the great thing about this podcast. We are actually addressing all those different avenues from where you may come to. So now we're going to move into this next bit, phase 3 of where we're at, and that is basically 2021. And this is it's eluded me. What was the word again?
Impact.
Impact. That's it. Impact. Yes. So impact, and where I'd like to start with impact is the reason I go here is because of the way the human psychology typically is, meaning that we will do more to get out of pain than what we will do more to try to get and achieve pleasure. So if we look at the news, for example, pain and yuck. However, most people watch it. Newspapers full of pain and yuck. Not much solutions. So if we look at, and we've said this before in many, many other podcasts as well, there's something like 70,000 thoughts that the human brain thinks of per day. And of those thoughts, they say that about 80% are negative. So we basically resonate to a negative theme, unfortunately, initially. So that's where I'm going to start in terms of why most network marketers fail, or why most people, when they set a New Year's resolution, why it fails. And it's not your fault. That's the most important thing that we would like to get across here. It's not your fault. It's our programming prior to the age of 7 that basically then can break down your dreams. And what happens is that basically is in the back of our mind, in our subconscious mind, that is now basically churning. And this is now becomes the resistance that allows us now not to achieve what we want in our life. So remember, there's such a thing as the law of resistance. Just to go over it quickly, whatever you resist, you persist in life. So if you want to have a 6-figure income per month in your multi-level marketing business, and you unfortunately have a subconscious belief here that says, I am not worthy of this, the goal is, I want to achieve a 6-figure income per month network marketing business. But where do we feel that? We feel the unworthiness in our body. However, because of subconscious programming, a lot of us are not aware of the feeling. So think of this as what goes out, and this is now the magnet. So this is now the law of attraction. So this is 100,000 a month. The law of attraction says, no, I'm not worthy of that. It goes out, yes, that's what I want, comes back, no, I'm not worthy of that. So therefore it hits the energetic field of that and then actually disappears. So as soon as we make a statement of truth in our mind, that vibrationary frequency goes out, and due to the universal laws, which we won't go into now, but due to the universal law, especially the first one, that is already there waiting for us. But because of the law of attraction and the law of resistance then says, well, I'm not worthy of that. So that's what actually persists. So how do we get around this? And this is where I really want to take 2021 into this impactful zone for those people listening. How do we get around this? And what we've got to do is, one really nice way of doing it is in meditation, or in that time when you're about to go to sleep, or in that time as you wake up. What I want you to then do within your framework of thinking is then look at your thought, whatever that may be. And then what I want you to do then is to then say it is negative. You've actually caught a thought because of mindfulness and it is negative. Then I want you then to basically turn it into a positive, and then start using I am courageous, I am strong, and think of all the things that you want to be, and then see yourself in that being. See that resilience. I am resilient, I am spontaneous, I am wise. At present, you might be saying, then you can actually go bigger than this, or make it into even a story. At this particular time in my life, I'm not really understanding the law of attraction and all this too well. But the good thing about who I am someone who is willing to study more and to listen more and to be a part of different areas to help me to get better. And yes, I might come up I might come up against some resistance, but that's the old me. The new me is actually someone who's changing. I'm pivoting towards a new expression of myself. And you can feel that. And now as I'm saying that, I'm getting tingles. And when you actually have these type of tingles in your body, that resonates with truth, which resonates with your intuitiveness and your that congruency that you feel, the law of attraction then brings that to you so much faster. And we've called it before, BK, collapsing time. So goals don't have to take 3, 5, 10 years. It can take 6 months, 3 months. It can totally change by this understanding that we're just talking about right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is so true, because a lot of times, in fact, I was just exploring this concept, and they kind of say that the real secret is the emotions behind your intentions, because the way to manifest things in our life is actually via our emotions. And the more we can feel towards something, like what Dr. Wayne just mentioned, the chances of you attracting it into your life is much higher. Now, I'm no expert in this, and of course, Dr. Wayne has. We have done a program together, which is called 5 Hidden Reasons. That's the numerical number 5. And if you are keen to, we will be going into this a lot more in season 3 as well. But if you are impatient, sometimes like me, and you want to check it out quick, then my suggestion is you could check out at this particular website, which is shown on the screen now, but numerical number 5, hiddenreasons.com. And that's where we have a very fully developed program on some of the things that Dr. Wayne just mentioned, things like the law of resistance, the law of attraction, and all that, right? Very, very interesting stuff. It will blow your mind.
Yes, it's quite interesting. And so think of the human body in the feeling sense as the magnet. And that is what then comes to us. So the first thing I generally suggest, and maybe what we'll do today, is those people who are listening and those people who want to just do one thing, all I want you to do is look at your thoughts a few times a day. That's it. Just when you just sit down and go, okay, what am I thinking about? Now, what generally happens is when you first start this and you've never done it before, you might go, I wasn't thinking about anything. But you keep asking, and then what will happen? It'll be revealed to you. And says, why am I thinking about that guy down the road? That was 20 years ago. How come I've still got this negative thing about that, And these type of things you'll start really looking at and addressing. And then you change that and you go, well, now I can actually think this way. I can actually think another way. And I want to now express myself in a different way. So the thing that I just want you to walk away, just one simple step, is to just ask yourself a few times a day, what am I thinking about? And then from there, try and allow yourself to think differently in terms of, or in a more positive way, like I just gave before, in terms of moving forward in your life. And then in the morning, and then in the evening, as you're about to go to sleep, and as you're waking up, then basically try and allow you to then put the words and put the phrases into your being about how you would like to be and how you'd like to resonate. Remember, you've got to feel it. It's not just words. So, I am worthy, and feel that worthiness. And if you're able to do that, you'll be amazed at the changes that occur. Don't worry about the 100,000 a month. That is irrelevant. If you can move towards a better feeling and a better version of yourself through pivoting, you'll then actually find that this will then happen because of your better feelings about who you are. Such incredible changes can occur.
That's exactly what we want to do for all of you here. So I think we have an excellent start to season 3. We welcome you on our journey, and we really certainly hope that what we are putting out for you today and for the next few episodes, especially for this season, is going to help you in many, many ways. It is about having a candid conversation about network marketing. We feel that it is probably one of the cleanest industries out there. And whether you are new, you are in the trenches, or you are excelling and you want to go even higher places, we hope that we can certainly help you. And you can help us by liking and sharing this wherever you are seeing this, right? And hopefully that can help us to also bring a greater impact to the world. So just a quick recap: if you want to catch our earlier episodes, you can check us out at networkmarketerpodcast.com. So that is networkmarketerpodcast.com, where you can find our show notes as well as the archive episodes. And because it is in this digital format, you can listen to it as many times as you need, especially for some of the more technical episodes where we dive into some of the spiritual laws, right? And of course, if you really want a deep dive into the spiritual laws, then we have it at this 5, that's a numerical number 5, 5hiddenreasons.com. So thank you, Dr. Wayne. Happy New Year. This is an interesting year, and we're going to dive a lot deeper into some of these things like goal setting, getting yourself out there. And of course, because season 3, our focus is about increasing the impact of this show, we will also share some of the behind the scenes things that we do in terms of strategy, in terms of promotion, in terms of getting ourselves syndicated and all these things out there, because it will help you as well. If you are trying to grow your network marketing business, this might be something that you will consider doing for yourself, right?
Yeah,
you might put out a show that is from you, about you, and it might not be network marketing related. It might just be an area of interest that you have, and that can help you to grow an audience for yourself, which would naturally become part of your lead generation in the sense, right?
Yes.
So hopefully that helps you. If you do want any tips and tricks about what we have done so far, at least for season 1 and 2, just hit us up in a private message. And of course, in our website, Network Marketer Podcast, there is a chat bot that you can actually communicate with us, right? So thank you all for joining us. We will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, BK. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.